feel like you're ready to go? Mm-hmm. All right, so here we go. So what we're listening to is this demo, Psychedelic Hypnotist Daydream demo, 24 minutes, 38 seconds long. It's on this CD, in the 6 CD box set. It's this track. So I'm going to do my best to explain what is this song and how did it happen. So this is a 4-track cassette tape recorder machine, and it uses cassettes. And, usually the way that I would be using a 4-track is I would use a tape and I would use all 4 tracks. And they're all playing forward at the same time, and you have 4 different tracks that you can turn up and down. That's what I'm doing here. Okay. But this particular tape is a transfer from a digital recorder, and this is all just stereo mixes on the front and the back of this tape. So if I was using one of my 4-track tapes, it's just a typical cassette. There's no front or back. I'm just using one side and I'm recording 4 tracks. But with this tape, we used it as a typical tape that had a front side and a back side, and we're recording stereo on the front and also stereo on the back. It's not meant to be played in a 4-track machine. And when we were doing the transfers of all these demos, the Do You Realize demos and the Ego Tripping at the Gates of Hell and the Utopia Planety, all these were getting transferred. This would have been just another tape in the mixture of what's literally hundreds of cassette tapes that look like this. They're all like this. Listening to them and turning up faders and seeing what's happening. Miles and I were finding a lot of great things. They wouldn't all be unknown, but some of them would be unknown at first, and then the more that we would play it and mess with the faders, I would say, oh, I know what this is, I know what this is. And we were listening to this, and parts of this, you can tell if you know the song, parts of it are the song, The Hypnotist. But then it would go into these other bits, and Stephen and I would do parts like this all the time, where you just kind of do an extended version of a song and it takes off and changes or whatever. And at first we thought, well, maybe it's that, and I didn't remember it, but we thought maybe Stephen would remember it. But then the more we played it, we realized that we didn't know what it was, and Stephen didn't know what it was, and we thought, maybe Dave Fridman knows. It sounds like something that Dave Fridman would have, urged us to do or whatever. And then I talked with Dave Fridman. He didn't know either. This all seemed like a mystery until I really looked at what's labeled on this tape. This tape is really just stuff that was transferred from our digital recorder. So what we end up hearing is we're hearing side A being played, going forwards, but we're also hearing the other side, and it's going backwards. And it's an uncanny coincidence of when a song on one side would stop, the other side would keep going, and we would never really know when the song ended. So the song ends up being 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes long. And this is why it got the way it got, and why none of us knew what the song was, because parts of it are familiar, and we remember, yeah, we did that, but these other parts would be mixed in there. Sometimes in the same key, but sometimes not, but it's not out of the realm of things that we would do. And it would come back again to being this Hypnotist song, but then as it would go further along, it would drift into something else that we wouldn't know what it was. And it all just became sort of intriguing and seemed like something that we would have done, but none of us could remember what we did. So while all of this questioning is happening, this is quickly getting made into a stereo file, and Dave Fridman has already mastered it, and we're starting to make the liner notes and decide, well, what is all this stuff? And we listen to it again, and none of us can figure out exactly what it was. But here is exactly what it is. It's part of this is going forwards, and then if you turn the tape over, it's that exact same stuff going backwards on the other two tracks. Now, some things going forwards doesn't sound that much different when it's reverse going backwards, like that you just heard. So it's not always hard to tell, oh, that's forwards and that's backwards. Now, there's other bits that you can tell a lot. But, you know, this doesn't sound that unlike music that we would make on purpose. But, so it's an accidental kind of track that I think if we weren't in such a hurry and we weren't listening so closely, we probably would have, or looked at the labels more clearly, we probably would have thought, oh, I understand what that is. But I say all for the better. Now we have this great, strange, unknown, meandering 25-minute track that none of us have ever heard before. And now it's available on this CD in the 6 CD package. I think it's going to have its own vinyl release later next year, but I don't know if it's part of the vinyl release that comes out in April. So, but I think it's getting its own vinyl all for itself. So that's the mystery that we, the mystery song, the mystery mix, how it got the way it got, part of the story. There we go.